Yeah, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Comedy Factory Comedy Chat. My name's John Perrotta. I got a great guest tonight. I met him when he writes for the Rhode Island Monthly, and he did a story on the Rhode Island comedy scene here in Providence, all around Rhode Island. He was a great guy, and he came into some of the clubs that we performed at. And he's also an actor. He's done comedy. Very good guy, very funny guy. Paul Kandarian. How you doing, Paul?
All right, John. How are you doing?
Good to have you on. How you holding up during this pandemic?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you took your glasses off. I'll take mine off too. And it's funny, you take your glasses off, you think you can't hear as well. You know, it's like you're driving down the street, you turn on the radio when you're trying to turn. And I'm doing great during the pandemic. I'm finding I got this wonderful mic here, so I'm doing voiceover stuff, and I've done some work, but I found a lot of auditions, video auditions, Zoom auditions, things like that. So there's stuff going on still, and it's slowly coming back. And for guys our age, John, you're a little younger than I am, but guys our age, there seems to be a bunch of work out there for older male actors. Sadly, it's not quite the same for females as it should be, but there's work for guys our age out there. But the old fart market, John, it's there to be tapped. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tap it. I did a commercial that aired in Rhode Island a lot. I don't know if it still is, for Soul Source Restoration. I'm the guy that, speaking of the pandemic, I talk about, spraying stuff and, with disinfectant and all that stuff. And it's funny. I mean, it's not a funny commercial, but it's funny that my friends saw it. And they always say, what the hell are you doing on my TV? I said, hey, I'm just doing my job,
What do you do? You do commercials, plays, movies?
Yeah. Everything. I do commercials, corporate videos, educational videos. I was in, there's another thing my friends see me at in my age bracket, is New England Baptist. I was in patient education videos. So I had to play a guy who had knee surgery, and they showed me how to walk upstairs with crutches. I didn't really, but I was faking it. And so now, people my age who go to Baptist, New England Baptist in Boston for surgery, they have to see these films. And they say, why was I looking at you? Yes. Why was I looking at you? And the funny, it's not funny, but the ironic part is I do have a bum knee in recent years. So sooner or later, I'm going to have to watch my own damn videos.
You're going to get stuck there watching you.
Yeah.
Going up the stairs.
but it's fun. It's just it's a lot of work to be had. You just got the game. You got to hustle.
How did you get into acting? How did you?
It has a Rhode Island connection, believe it or not. It always does. Number one, it's my favorite state. I love Rhode Island. Right for Rhode Island Monthly. I was born in Providence, even though my name doesn't indicate it. I'm 3/4 Italian, mostly Italian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my mom was
your last name came there, and I thought
no, it's Armenian. My dad was half and half, so I got the name in the nose from my old man, right? but my mom, they say if your mother's full-blooded, whatever, you're full-blooded. So I'm going with that because I feel like a full-blooded Italian. But years ago, it was 2006, 2007. I was doing a story on Kurt Columbus, he's still there, the artistic director of Trinity Rep.
Oh yeah.
And he was new at the time, and so they said, do a profile on him. So I said, all right. And I had always wanted to act. I just never had the stones to try it. I just never had the courage to get out there and do it. So I did the story, and I was hanging around the theater a bunch, and I saw some plays, and finally hit me. So, well, what am I waiting for? What am I? And I was 50-something years old at the time. So I'm going to die without ever having realized this dream. And so my girlfriend's in Marion, Mass, where I am now, and there's a small theater here, and we used to go to shows there once in a while, and I'd look at the people, and I'd say, I can do this. I know I can do it. So
are you in the basement or the attic right now?
In the basement.
What are you in, timeout, Paul?
Yes. It's nice.
Go down to the basement.
It's quiet,
It's quiet. So you went to Trinity.
Yeah, and then I tried out for a play here in Marion, and ironically enough, called Later Life. And I got the lead, and
I got the lead.
Yeah, it's a small theater, but as soon as I stepped on stage, this feeling. As soon as you step on stage and you get that reaction of the audience, and you become like one with them. I don't want to get too philosophical, but it's like I belong here. I felt like I never belonged anywhere else more than I belonged on stage and subsequently in front of a camera. So I did like 4 or 5 years of shows there, 3, 4 shows a year. It was obsessive, and I just loved it. And then I branched out and started to do a little bit of film, and I've been a full-time, mostly film actor for the last two or 3 years. And that's it. A little bit of writing on the side, but mostly acting, But it's a hustle, John. You know about hustle. You got to hustle, hustle, hustle.
Yeah.
And there's something about it. I just love the hustle as much as the work itself. But there's nothing more satisfying than connecting somehow with an audience, which is more evident on stage because you get that immediate feedback.
You do it mostly all around New England?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I've gone not that far, but I've gone out to like Ohio, West Virginia to do stuff. I'm supposed to do another. I'm supposed to play a Nazi who gets tortured by an Israeli back in the 70s or something like that, and that was supposed to film in North Carolina or South Carolina. That got put on hold because of the pandemic. So there's a lot of stuff that's kind of waiting to happen. So I've got work lined up, and so in the meantime, I'm just finding more work. But yeah, it's mostly around the Boston, New York.
You're good at memorizing the lines.
Yeah.
We had a girl on the other night, Alessandra Grima. She's an actress, done plays and stuff. And they gave her like a 70-page script, and the next day she had to remember it all. I said, "How could you do that?" She remembered it all.
Wow.
I couldn't. Day? Yeah, like within a day or two, she remembered the whole script.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't memorize all the. If I had to, how do you do it? I mean, it's going to be tough, right?
Yeah, you would think it would be, but my go-to joke on that is, I was a child of the 70s. I smoked more pot than Cheech and Chong, so I shouldn't have any brain cells left. but somehow it just works. I don't know, because it's like call them Velcro moments. If you like something enough, it'll stick to you. And so if you really, really like it, if you got a comedy routine, if you just love to do what you do, it's just easy to memorize. It just makes it easier to stick to you.
Yeah.
So, and I just tend to see the whole page of a script because I've had huge scripts to memorize too. And I just tend to go from one page at a time, just do one page and then the next page and then go back and just keep going back to the beginning and then keep advancing. And it just sticks. It just sticks at somehow. And I can see the page in my mind. So, till the time comes where I'm like drooling oatmeal down my face and I don't remember, my own name. I'm going to keep trying. I think it keeps you young, and I also do a crossword puzzle every day, so that helps.
You do a crossword puzzle. I never get into those. I try them.
Yeah, the secret is keep them simple.
Keep them simple.
Yeah, like the 3-letter clues and stuff. They're good.
Yeah.
No, but it's just staying active physically and mentally, and but the acting thing is it's something I should have been doing all along, and I'm just so glad I did it because now
you're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm making a little money, not a lot. Nobody gets rich in the arts, John. You know that.
Yeah.
On stage in front of a camera, if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. It's comedy, same thing.
Yeah, when I got into comedy, it was like I didn't get any pay, or maybe $25 or $50. It took a while. If you get into comedy, you got to get into it because you want to see if you like it and you're passionate for it. But money wise, it takes some people quicker than others, but it can take years before you really make decent money.
Yeah, it's like writing. It's like anything. You see the big name, the A-list, actors and comedians and things like that. It's this much of the overall population of comedians and actors and artists or whatever. Very, very few writers. Very few get to that level, and good for them. They paid the dues. They did what they had to do. That's great. Yeah. But you can aspire to that. You can wish for it. You can imagine it, which is always a good thing. You imagine what you want to be, and hopefully you'll become it.
Yeah, I worked with many comedians over the years, and out of all the ones I work, ones that made it big, it's only a small amount.
Yeah. Bill, what's his name?
Some are very well known, but as far as the ones that made it like huge, it's tough to do that.
Who's that guy that Bill?
Yeah, well, I know Burr? Bill Burr. I worked with Bill Burr. I worked with Dane Cook. I worked with Bob Marley. I worked with Colin Quinn. Different comics, and a lot of them that have made it.
Yeah,
made it really big. You know what I mean?
It's
few and far between the ones that. Find and make it.
It's a grind. You know what show I love? You must love it. You ever watch Seinfeld's comedians? Comedians, Cars, Coffee, whatever.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's so damn funny.
I saw the episode where Don Rickles was on. I love Don Rickles.
God,
God rest his soul. I love him.
Wasn't he great? Yeah. That's funny. And it's to segue into comedy in my own mind, I always wanted to try comedy, and I got to do it thanks to you, but it was because of Rickles. I would see Rickles when I was a kid, and I got the album, and my mom hid it because he said damn, and I think he may have said shit in it once or something, so you can't be listening to that. He was so funny. I just so admired his ability to come back like that, bang, 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 and like Robin Williams the same way. But Rickles was, and he did it in a way that he was his insult humor, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't,
Yes. Some of the stuff he did in the 70s, you couldn't probably do now. I was watching some of his the roast, and
yeah.
you could never do some of that stuff now.
No,
he was crazy.
Yeah, but I just
back then,
admired
different time, not now.
Yeah.
He could never come back now and do that stuff.
Yeah. But I just admired the way he could connect things the way he did, and he was just so fast. And I started to do that on my own, in junior high school, whatever. And I had a reputation as a wise ass. Amazing, I didn't get the crap kicked out of me more. But it was like, wow, humor is it's a great defense, it's a great offense, it's a great shield. Humor can be many things to different people. You got to be careful how you use it, as you know. But that seed was planted by Rickles back in the day. And that's another thing. I'd always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I always wanted to try it. And I did, in the early 2000s, Rhode Island Monthly, I used to do the column in the back of the magazine. And they said, well, you want to try stand-up at Charlie Hall's place, the Foundry, when he had that place over there? And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And so I did it, but I had the buffer was, well, if I screw up, I'm on a story. So it'll be funny either way. But they seemed to like it. It was fun. And one of the other comics said, make sure you go on later in the night because everybody will be drunk and they laugh more. So I did. And I had a couple of drinks and it was great. It was fun. And the upshot of that was, they said, if you can make Charlie, if you hear Charlie hear a seal sound in the back, that means Charlie laughed. He goes, ah! And sure enough, I said something, I forgot what the joke was, but I heard that. I said, I've done well. Charlie laughed. So. But I interviewed him for the story, and fast forward, I did a story a year and a half ago or so on comedy in Rhode Island. Talked to you. You were my point man. I went to you for lots of information, lots of leads. It was great. And then I did, the open mic at Pub on Park.
We had you at the Pub on Park.
Yeah.
The Comedy Connection.
Yeah.
There a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Well. You did really well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I want to do it again, but like I said, I just want to stay up that late. You guys stay up really late.
Comedy can be, once in a while you get day gigs, but most of them are.
Yeah, well, if I want to work the hours I want to work, I'll be doing nursing homes, so.
You don't like the late night stuff, huh?
No, because like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night or whatever, I'll already have been up for my third piss of the night by then, if I were home. And I got to go up and try to be funny at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. That's like, Jesus. But I admire that. I admire guys who do that all the time. But it's funny, too, because sitting in the green room and there and just hanging around comics, they're some of the unhappiest people I've ever seen. It's like some of them are like, I guess, miserable. Well, what's his name? Screaming Joe. What's his name? Joe, the comedian. I interviewed him in the story. Not Screaming Joe.
Rockin' Joe.
Rockin' Joe. I forget. Hebert. Is that his name?
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure who you're talking about. It could be him or it could be any.
Yeah, but he was funny. He was saying, he said, there's some of the most miserable sons of bitches you'll ever meet in your life. And I said, it can't be true. And then I met a few and I was like, these people aren't happy. But it was fun. It was just fun because, it's all walks of life who get up in there and do it and hang around in the green room at the Comedy Connection. It was just great talking to people, see what they do in real life and everything. It's a great melting pot, that's for sure.
I missed the whole scene, like going and hanging out with I love going to the Comedy Connection or different places and with a lot of comedians, we had fun talking and joking around and getting to know, like, because I got into comedy, I've got so many friends through the years, all over the country. I got friends in New York, Jersey, California, all over the place, which I didn't before I got into comedy as many. I had a few, maybe, but I made a lot of friends and lifelong friends. And I run into people here and there, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is, and it's like I play hockey, right? I still play hockey, and I'm a goalie.
So now you play hockey?
Yeah, I still play hockey, and I like it because it's a great sport. It's good exercise, but it's not a sport everybody can do. You got to do a specific skill on little tiny pieces of metal. And it's kind of like that with comedy too. Not everybody can get up on stage and do stuff like that. Some do it well, some don't do it well. I've seen some people get up there and they're just deer in the headlights and your heart goes out to them, but they're trying. And that's the important thing. They have something inside them they need to get out, and at least they're trying to do it. So I admire that. But it's a skill that not everybody can do, and that's kind of what makes it fun to be an actor or a comedian or anything like that.
Once you can get it down, like I told you, I started in the '80s for a very short time. I got up at Periwinkle's Comedy Club, and Charlie was there, and Frank McDonald, Dave Kane, and I got there, and I got up and did really well the first time. It was like '83, '84. Yeah. And then I got up 2 more times, and it was the most awful experience in my life.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. And I think I stopped for 8 years, and I went to the Comedy Connection again. I happened to catch a show. Yeah. Jonathan Katz was a big Boston headliner. He had an animated series on Comedy Central later on. He was Dr. Katz, but he was awesome. And I was sitting there watching him, and I'm saying, I got to try this one more time. And I took Frank O'Donnell's comedy class. Took that, and I got up at Periwinkle's and did great. Same thing. The second time up, nothing. So I had to make a decision. What do I do? And I decided, I read a couple of books, and it said you're going to have your rough nights and your good nights, and that's how you learn. And so you got to kind of fail to get better. I didn't like, but I had my rough nights and I had my good nights, and then over time, you hope that you have more of the better nights.
And then you get confidence enough to know. And people will ask me, and not that I did it a lot, I even did it a few times, that they said most people don't laugh. It's you just got to keep going. You got something material you got to do. Just do it, and just like practice. If it falls on deaf ears, whatever. It's a different crowd. It's like you can't go. Every crowd's different. In theater, it's the same thing. One night you'll a ton of laughs on a certain line if you're doing a comedy. Next night, crickets. You can't. No two audiences are the same. They're different, living, breathing organism every night.
And then you're doing it, and it's in your head. You're thinking, like, if I tell a joke that usually goes, and I do it, and then one night it hits big, and then I do it the next night, same joke, same kind of delivery. And it doesn't get as much. You're like in your head, you can't let it get to you. You got to kind of go to the next.
That's exactly it.
You can't let it get to you. You know what I mean?
No, it's like in theater. If you screw up a line, I mean, you still got to keep going. You just can't stop saying, "Oh, wait, I screwed that up."
A lot of times the audience doesn't even know you screwed up.
No, not in plays. No, they don't.
You might get a line wrong in a play, or the joke you might have still get a laugh. You tell it. I usually tell it a different way, but they don't know.
It's new to them.
So. That's
but that was, and again, that was like a lifelong dream to do comedy and to do it in a few times under your tutelage and your watchful eye. It was fun.
We were excited when you contacted us. That you wanted to do with the Rhode Island Monthly, do a story on the comedy scene, and you came a great guy, and I introduced you and gave you some different comedians, call a comedy, and actually call this comic, and you did a great job with the article, and then you said you wanted to try stand up, so. That was part of the story, I believe.
It was.
Got up there and you did well, and we got you a few more times. And
I'll try it again because I got a lot of stuff in me that I got to get out. I mean, it's just I'm driving down the street. You must do the same thing. I'm like, man, this is great. I'm just talking to myself because we all do that. And I'm like, that was funny. So I was record stuff going down the road. So I don't want to waste all this stuff. But luckily, Facebook came along, so you can still be a wise ass, on a social media platform. But doing it live in front of an audience is nothing like that. And it's just fun. It's just energizing. So, it was great. And I hate interviewing people for that story. I didn't realize there were so many funny people outside of politics in Rhode Island, but there was a lot of funny people. It was great.
Buddy Cianci? We don't get into politics much on here, but I had met Buddy a few times. Did you ever meet him?
I met a couple of times. Once he cut in front of me in the bar line at the casino in Roger Williams.
We won't get into that.
No, it was an event there, and I'm waiting in line. All of a sudden, he comes in with this beautiful girl on his arm, and he just goes right to the bar. And I'm like right behind him. Are you kidding me? Really?
That's Buddy.
Son of a that's like figure. What am I, chopped liver? Yes, I am. And also, a few years ago, Joe Rocco did a documentary, beautiful documentary on water fire. And they interviewed me because I had written about it for Rhode Island Monthly. I got like 15 seconds, whatever. And I sat like next to Buddy at the premiere too. And he was just beaming. Buddy was the kind of guy who would strut sitting down. I mean, he was a world unto himself, and they always say you love him or hate him, whatever. But you were always fascinated by him.
He did a lot for Providence. But, I mean, I know he had his ups and downs, and I mean, I don't think Providence. He did a lot. He brought a lot to the city. I think. My opinion.
John, if his name was on the ballot tomorrow for mayor, they'd still vote for him. even though he's dead. They would still vote for that guy.
I think he'd get in.
Yeah.
I think he'd get
But
in.
anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was fun. The story was fun because it was a great topic, and I got to laugh a lot. It was terrific, and I met some great people.
Yeah. How did you like it at when you got up at I know you did well at the pub, and then when we got you to the Comedy Connection, that was fun, wasn't it? We had a good crowd.
Yeah.
Because the pub is like an open mic, you get more comics, whereas the Comedy Connection you get more of an audience.
Yeah, exactly.
We do our showcase on the Sunday, so you had a nice audience to perform.
Yeah, no.
50 to 100 people,
Yeah, no, and it was great because, like you had, I think you or somebody else told me, or maybe it was, can't remember names now. I can remember scripts, John, but I can't remember freaking names. Who's the guy that draws for the cartoons for Disney?
Oh, Steve D'Annunzio.
Steve D'Annunzio, yeah. He said, when you do the Pub on Park Monday nights here, he said, you just perform it for other comics, and they're not going to laugh. I mean, they're not going to laugh because they'd be jealous. They'd be pissed if they got to laugh at you. So
you get some, but it's you got to work for
it. Yeah. But we're at the Connection. You got people coming in, paying to get in, and they want to have a good time. You give them a good time. Yeah. So it's different playing for like real people instead of comedians.
The open mics can be tough.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun, and it was because it's new to me. I mean, that's the beauty of doing anything for the first time. It was a bucket list thing. I didn't even know I had a bucket list, but that was one of the things, and I've done it, and I still want to do it again. But it was great. It was a great opportunity. And if you get up and you do well, you're great. If you get up and you screw up, so what? It's like I know a lot of actors that get really nervous in auditions and things, or getting up on stage and doing things. I said, what's the worst thing that can happen? If you F up and come off, they're going to shoot you? No. You'll be alive when you go on. You'll be alive when you come off. It's not that big a deal. It's not a life-changing moment, but anyway, yeah, but it's fun.
What kind of stories have you done for the magazine, for the monthly?
Tons of them over the years.
How long have you been with them, writing for them?
Oh my God, 25 years or so.
Yes,
it's like 98, 99, something like that. So it's been almost 20 plus years. Yeah, and it's been fun. I get to do people's stories, and I like that. I was with a daily newspaper for years in Taunton, and it's a gloom and doom beat. You chase dead bodies, whatever. It just sucked. I hate bad news, but you did it, and you had to cover really boring meetings and so forth. But it's a good place to learn how to write. And so then when I get to the magazine, I ended up doing stories that I like to do, that I would suggest or they suggested, but it was always good people stories, whether funny stories like the comedians, or semi-tragic stories. There was a guy named Bob Lucy who was a teacher at URI. And became a friend, but he was the Prince of the City. I don't know if you remember Treat Williams movie back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah. The Prince of the City was a book. Can't forget who wrote it, but Treat Williams played Bob Lucy. Bob Lucy was the Prince of the City.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in New York, a narcotics cop. And he went undercover because he was a good cop, and nobody wanted to work with him because he was a good cop. And that was the time when the New York Police Department was, in the whole judicial system was a mess. It was just rife with corruption. And Bob didn't do it. And so they, people just turned their back on him. They couldn't be with this guy. And then eventually he did it to fit in. He would take, money. He would steal money from like drug money to pay off another informant. It wasn't really bad stuff, but it was illegal. And it just ate him alive. And so he went undercover. They asked him to go undercover. And it was when Giuliani was the prosecutor then. And John Partington was then, who became the head of the police, I think, in Providence. He was the first head of the witness protection plan. Lucy was one of the first people to go into witness protection. But anyway, it was a fascinating story. And he took down cops. He took down bail bondsmen, lawyers, judges, because of his testimony. He was right up there with Serpico. Everybody remembers Serpico, the Al Pacino movie.
That was a great movie.
But Bob was the Knapp Commission time, and Bob was instrumental in, kind of reforming the police department and bringing that awareness to them. And then he quit and he moved to Rhode Island. I forget why, but he ended up becoming a writer, and he wrote these really gritty crime novels. He wrote a bunch of them, but he was still one of the most tormented guys I've ever met. He had so much baggage, so many layers to the guy, and that was fun to write about. It was fun to get to know him and talk to other people. I tried to talk to Giuliani at the time, but he didn't. But he was just such a riveting character, and he had so many layers to him, and so much, like I said, so much baggage. He died like 3 or 4 years ago. His health was never good, and I think it's because of all the shit that he carried on him. It really had,
Must have been. It's tough.
Well, it wore him down. But because of him, I met There's this kid at URI, Andrew Pilkington, who has got cerebral palsy, and he's a movie maker, and he types with his nose and he edits film with his foot. Amazing kid, amazing. I love this kid, and I've worked with him. I've been in a couple of his movies since then, and through him, I met in one of the movies they did. I met Annabeth Moyer Bell, who's from North Kingstown, and she formed Creating Outreach About Addiction Support Together. It's a nonprofit in Providence, and I'm with them. And the most important acting I will ever do is the work I do for that nonprofit. And if anybody wants to look it up, there's 2 A's in COAST, COAAST.org. But we do original plays about addiction and the impact addiction, the disease of addiction has on families. There's 3 components in the 4 Legs to Stand On, Act 1, and then Act 2. And then most recently, my son is a recovering addict, almost 6 years now. He and I wrote a play about his recovery, his addiction through recovery. I stood by him the whole time.
I remember you telling me, yeah. You telling me about that, yeah.
We did that through the Harvard Medical School, so that's pretty good imprimatur on that. We just had launched it like a couple of years ago, and then now with the pandemic hit, so we haven't done it since. But it's really powerful because it addresses the disease of addiction, and it gives people who attend these things and see it, it gives them permission to feel what they want to feel, because it's still stigmatized. Addiction is still very, very much stigmatized, whether it's alcoholism or opioids or whatever. But in this arena that we, or the sphere that we do this in, the theater, it's a drama therapy, and it gives people permission to feel whatever they want to feel. And then the talkbacks later are the most genuine things I've ever been part of. People get up and just pour their hearts out because there's a connection. Everybody, I always say, I've talkbacks. If you ask people to say, how many people have been impacted by cancer, everybody's hand would go up. But if you said that about addiction, they'd be less willing to raise their hands in general. Yeah, because there's still that stigma, but you have to learn to treat it like a disease and manage it like a disease. It's like diabetes; it's never going to go away, but you can manage it. But anyway, so that's absolutely the most important acting work I'll ever do. If I can win 10 Academy Awards, nothing will be that important because it helps people. And for the life of me, John, I never thought helping people would feel so good. I've always been kind of a selfish guy, but this is like, people really react, and it's visceral, and they can latch onto it, and it's important to them. So it's like, this helping people is pretty cool. It's fun, How
often do you do things with them?
Well, until the pandemic, we'd done shows for like 5,000 Rhode Island school kids one year, all over the inner city, all over the place, to Tony, upper crust prep schools, all the way to, the schools, inner city schools. And so, it's really good. We worked with the district, the U.S. Attorney's Office. So we helped through a couple of the nonprofit rehab places. They've been very supportive, get grants, whatever. So it was going full bore there for a while, but now it's like, no, can't do anything. So they're trying to figure out a way to do it virtually. But live performance is live performance. It's better to perform live, but we'll figure out a way, and we'll get through this and get back on stage. And so
same thing with the comedy too. It's tough. Yeah. I mean, a lot of comedians are doing Zoom shows. Some of them are doing comedy on here on Zoom, and some are doing. I said to myself, I'd rather have like a kind of a talk show format.
Yeah,
it's like my act. I work the audience a lot, and I can't really do that on Zoom. So, but I do have. I had a Comic-Con friend of mine from New York, Stacey Kendall. She was on a couple of times recently. She did the little stand-up one night, and she did a character she does of her mother. August 23rd, I got about 4 or 5 comedians. They're gonna do a few minutes each.
Yeah,
but it's something for me personally. I would have a hard time.
Yeah,
probably. You know what I mean? Because I like the audience.
Yeah, well, I've seen you do the work the room, as they say, and you're really good at it. And if you got no room, there's no room on Zoom, buddy. There's nobody there. So I don't know how you even doing. If you do 2-3 minutes, you got to imagine the laughter.
I mean, I could do sometime. I got material. I've been doing it for 29 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer not to, because I just don't think I'd be at my game.
You don't have this because you get the juice. You're not feeling the juice. You got to get that reaction.
But I'm enjoying these, because what's happening with these shows, like I get to connect with you tonight. I haven't seen you in a while. And I've got different comedians on. Tomorrow I'm talking to Christine Early, headliner from Boston. Tuesday, Jody Sloan. She headlines features. I do a lot of different interviews on here and talk whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this because I'm connecting with old friends, people I
Right.
haven't seen and that I knew in the past. Like I had met you.
Yeah.
This is fun for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is helping me get through
Yeah.
this pandemic.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, it's just that I always tell people, I've interviewed people my whole working life. I've been in journalism since the 80s. And it's just about listening. It's just about conversation. It's just about talking to people one on one like this. And, you can have a list of questions you want to ask people, but one question will get an answer, which will beget another question, which just becomes a conversation. And there's nothing more magical in that. Conversation is the connective tissue between human beings. So yeah, so that's it. You just have a conversation and just
I
wing
kind of
it.
do this like I do my act. I kind of used to wing it, and this is the same way. Like I don't prepare. I might think of a couple of things, but I usually just come on air and just. Sometimes I have 4, 5, 6 comedians on. Sometimes just 2.
Yeah.
Just kind of just go with the flow, and you say one thing, and I'll think of something, and we just kind of. And it winds up being pretty good. We've had a lot of fun. Like I said.
Yeah. I can't imagine having 5 or 6 comedians on. Speaking of herding cats, I mean, Jesus God Almighty,
we kind of go. Each one of them will say a
you
little
got to
bit, and we kind of
them.
go
Back
and
mute
forth,
them.
and sometimes they start talking over each other. It gets kind of crazy, but it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. I've had good response. A lot of people watching them, and
good.
So I'll keep doing them for now. And
yeah,
what happens, it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
Being retired too, it's.
You ever missed
pandemic? I mean, what the heck? There's not much going on.
No, hopefully the vaccine comes out soon and I can finally get out of the basement. I was going to do it in the bedroom, but I figured they say, the bedrooms, you're supposed to do 2 things in the bedroom, one of which is sleep, and the other one is I'm too old to remember. So there was a joke. That's a bit of a routine right there, I guess. But we'll all get back to normal, the new normal, whatever that is. It'll be different.
I think it's going to be. I don't know. My guess is by the time next summer rolls around, they'll have the vaccine hopefully going on.
Yeah.
I'm looking for comedy next fall, like the scattered shows now.
Yeah.
Connections open, but I'm not sure how many they hold, but they cut them down.
Yeah.
Some of the other clubs here and there, some are open, some are not. Some are Boston, and some are they're doing drive-in theaters. Yeah. So it's kind of really a whole, like you said, melting pot of all different stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think it's going to take a while before it comes back the way it was. It might take literally a few years.
Yeah.
I did a lot of dinner shows.
Yeah.
You have 400 people. You'd be right there with your crowd. Those are not going to happen for a while.
Yeah.
What do you think? I can't predict when.
No, but the awareness of it too. It's like now people are getting used to wearing masks, and I've always thought hospitals and doctors' waiting rooms was just it's a hotbed of disease. So now people are going to probably be wearing masks more often. And when you think and say, well, this spreads, by transmission in the air, well, everything does. And so we're just going to be a little more careful, maybe, hopefully. I mean, I haven't washed my hands this much since my mother was looking over my shoulder telling me to do it. But, I mean, it's just this common sense stuff. Hopefully we don't forget as a society, the crap we've been through. So you got to keep it up to some level. You just got to be diligent. You got to be careful.
I've never used, at first, my son told me, oh, this virus is coming. I was asking him like the flu, don't worry about it. And when my shows all got canceled, I was like, no, this is serious.
Yeah.
And now, if I go into like the post office, come out, I use a hand sanitizer. Anywhere I go, I come out. I have it with me all the time. I use it. And I don't think this virus is a hoax. Some people think it's a hoax.
No science.
150,000 died, and definitely not a hoax.
Yeah. Oh no, it's scary stuff. And now you get your kids. I mean, your kids, but the kids are like, oh, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing that. I say, what am I? I got 1 foot in the grave. What do you get?
My daughter. Whenever I'm around her, Paul, she's like, put your mask on. Do this. Do that. She's like she's like really gung ho on this. She's really she's worried about. Just doesn't want me to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My kids aren't that bad about it, but I know some families. My kid, I think I worked this into a joke once. I said, I told my kids, if I ever get really bad, take me out and shoot me. They said, how about next Tuesday? So It's like, nah, go to the gym, Dad. Go whatever you want. So go lick a doorknob or. But as you know, Italian families, we specialize in kind of crass black humor, dark humor. So that's how we love each other, John.
I never knew you were Italian. The times I met you.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't remember you saying. Maybe you said it in your act. I don't remember. What.
Yeah. No, I think I did actually one time. But yeah, no, and and they had all my relatives. They all grew up in, they're all in East Providence or in Providence. They all ended in a vowel. Aineri, Ainacelli, Ricciuti. I mean, all these great Italian names. I got stuck with them.
You're in pretty good shape. You're not a big like me. I'm a big. I lost 64 pounds.
Yeah, you lost.
I was on a liquid diet. And the pandemic hit, I gained about 25 back. But I was always used to eating a lot of Italian food.
Yeah.
I love meatballs. I love lasagna. I love chicken parm, veal parm.
Yeah.
You look like you got a different kind of diet. Like you're more careful because you always in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we eat a lot of fish, and I hike a lot. Well, I haven't because it's been so bloody hot, but I walk in the woods a lot. My girlfriend and I go to the gym, and they play hockey once a week, sometimes twice. I think I'm playing in Cranston this week, actually.
Oh, wow.
And it is diet. I mean, I love Italian food too, but I found out 15 years or so ago that I got celiac disease, so that's wheat. You can't eat wheat, right? And so, to an Italian, there's Italian bread, there's pasta, it's all this. Why don't you just cut my heart out?
So you can't eat this stuff?
No, I can't eat that. I can, but then I'll just get sick and get the trots or whatever. But but now, I mean, they have gluten-free bread and gluten-free pasta, but it's not the same.
It's all got to be gluten-free for you.
Yeah. It was kind of a pain in the ass,
tough.
but I got to stick to the diet as much as I can. But same thing, I put on like the COVID-19. Everybody's put on weight during this. And as you get older, you put on weight. It's really easy to put it on. It's really hard to take it off. I said, you got here quick enough. Can't you leave that fast? But it doesn't work that way.
I was rolling. I'm in a program in Miriam Hospital, OptiFast shakes. Those are the ones Oprah Winfrey did years ago. I was on those. Like 6, 7. You could say drink as many as you drink 6 or 7 a day, but if you're hungry, drink another one. And I was on those, and they had protein bars.
Yeah.
And they had soups. And it's kind of expensive, but I was on that diet. Like I said, I had success with it before, but the thing was I didn't do right when I got off. So this time I was determined to stay on it, lose 100 pounds, and I was headed there. Like I said, I had 64 off. I was like 36 pounds away. 100 pounds. I was like really doing well, and this kind of set me back. I'm trying to fight back with it, and I'm God willing, I'd like to get more of this weight off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's not easy to get older. It's not easy to take that.
A lot of my act was kind of focused on being a big Italian guy and pick on a big guy in a crowd. And once I picked on him, because I'm big, say he's big, and I say I kind of had a license. But maybe a skinny guy gets up, he can't really pick on a big guy and call him chubby. Guy's gonna get mad. But if he sees a big, heavy guy like me get up and say something about his weight, he laughs. 99% of the time they laugh because you got a license. When you're something, you can
exactly.
You can do it more than someone else could. You know what I mean?
And finding a fat Italian in Rhode Island, ooh, that's hard, huh? It's like
I know.
Fat Italians, they're all
My dinner shows, half the room was
That's why if you look at a map, I swear Rhode Island's a little lower than the rest of the country because all these fat Italians in it. And being Italian, I can get away with it.
Being Italian in the early 90s, I don't know if I'm the first guy that came up with the idea, but I did early 90s. I did a bachelor party. There was a place, I don't know if you ever heard of it, Old McDonald's Chicken Farm, Swansea, Mass. Kind of like Wright's Farm. They had the all-you-can-eat chicken dinner, and pasta, salad, bread. Was $8 for.
Yeah.
I talked to the manager. I had the idea. I said, why don't we try an all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-laugh dinner comedy show? It was catchy. The Journal even came, Providence Journal even came down and did a story.
Yeah.
We were there. Unfortunately, the owner, I guess, he's probably passed now, but he got in trouble with income tax evasion or whatever. The wife was running it. They wound up shutting down after a couple of years. I was there about a year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
But we used to get 300 people for
Wow.
All you can eat, all you can laugh.
Yeah.
And comedians I had there, Ed the Machine Regine, Bob Marley from Maine was a great Maine comedian, Tom Carter, Bill Burr.
Wow.
The list goes on and on. Really, I had great headlines come in because I could do it because I was getting it was actually crazy because they would get $8 and I would get $8. It was 16 a person.
That's funny.
So, but I'd advertise and I'd bring in these great comedians, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they closed down, and then I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
shows for years at Seekonk Ramada Inn. We used to get a lot of people over there too. We used to no dinner show; it was just a regular show.
Yeah.
I had a blast with this, you know.
Yeah, is that Johnson and Wales now, or is that the Seacock? It's on 44 that became
That's
Johnson.
The one. That's the one going up. It's now a Seaconk Ramada, and also last I knew, it used to be Audrey's Johnson and Wales.
Okay, yeah.
And
Near the old
the
golf
Seaconk Ramada originally, the original one was
it was on
Fall River Avenue.
Right,
Fall River
yeah.
Avenue, right when you get off the highway.
Yeah, I grew up on Cole Street, which is right off Fall River Avenue, where the Showcase Cinemas used to be. And we're doing the Rhode Island thing, where Benny's used to be, where this used to be, where everything used to be. Yeah, I grew up down there. I grew up on Cole Street in Seaconk before the highway. It's just how old I am, John. This is before the highway. It was before 195 was. It was just farm across the street.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's amazing. And then the highway came in. It's like, ooh, look at this. And I could always hear Seaconk Speedway from my house because we hear the hated Seaconk Speedway. My dad used to take us there because he was a special cop at the time, and used to get us in for free. And he kept us occupied on Saturday nights. But yeah, Seaconk was a cow town. It was definitely a cow town. Now it's pretty much East Providence. Yeah, for the most part. You know, that's still a suburban enclave. But
Seaconk Speedway, I did. One time I rode in what they call it, the pace car.
Yeah.
One of my brother-in-law worked for a car dealership, and me and him were in this. It wasn't really going that fast, but fast enough. I was nervous, you know. I'm going around. It starts the race, I guess, and then the cars go, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Get me off this track.
We would go around once, but I was like trying to get out of that car, Paul. I drive fast sometimes. I drive a little too fast. I try not to, but fast and made me nervous.
Well, Rhode Island, I think I did a column on this once for Rhode Island Monthly. Rhode Island, that stretch of 95, and I think I did this as part of the comedy show once too. 95 from like Thurbers Ave till Route 4 almost. It's like it's like the Speedway. People go like 1,000,000 miles an hour on it because I think it opens up to 4 or 5 lanes, and people just go crazy. And I asked the state police about that one time. I rode with the state trooper, and she was pulling over cars left and right. She goes, "Yeah, for some reason that stretch, maybe it's the stench from the sewage treatment plant near the prison or something. I don't know. It makes people go crazy, and they got to get through there really quick." But it's a nightmare driving. I drive fast, but people pass you like you're standing still. It's amazing. I hate that stretch of 95. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Rhode Island is famous for not using blinkers. You know, nobody uses the turn signal. It's incredible. All these stereotypes about Rhode Island, pretty much true.
I should have never got my license, Paul. I'll tell you
a
quick little funny story. I went to driver's training. My grandmother paid for. Oh, you got to take this. I went around with the guy in the car. Telling me what to do. Then I tried to take my test for my license. So we're on Uniconnet Hill, which is in Silver Lake in Providence. We're on a hill. So the guy says, "All right, pull over. You're done with the test. You passed." So I go up. I stop the car. The guy says, "You all set?" He opens the door. I don't know how. I was on the hill, but I was stopped. He opens the door. I thought I had it in park. It wasn't in park. I don't know if I had it in neutral or what the hell I had it in. All I know is he was getting out of the car. He just passed me. He's getting out of the car. All of a sudden, the car's going back. He just falls out of the car on his ass. I'm looking. I'm like, I'm never going to get my license. No way. This guy just fell out of my car. He still gave me the license.
Really?
That guy should have gotten in trouble.
Funny.
He really shouldn't have gave me my license. At that point, I didn't deserve it.
You know? Well, if you kill a driving, inspector, your chances are you wouldn't.
I drove, and 5 days later, I got in an accident and totaled the car. I had a telephone pole. So he shouldn't have gave me my license, Paul.
No, and remind me never to drive with you.
Yeah, I'm much better now. I'm kind of careful now.
Yeah, you lived this long. You must have done something.
I haven't been in an accident in quite a while. But,
Jesus.
Yeah, last time I was on the way to a gig in Boston 3 years ago. That was the one I got in the last bunch of years. Truck hit me. Tractor trailer truck. Gave me back. Yeah. It wasn't too good.
No, that seldom ends well, but
I still went and did the gig, Paul.
Yeah. Well, you're a comedian, John. You've got it's like an essential personnel.
If
you're
I'm
a comedian.
on a stretcher going to the hospital, I'll go do the gig.
Yeah. That's why comedians should be essential personnel during the pandemic. You got to do
I
the
know,
shows,
right?
man. Wait, people need to laugh, you know.
Yeah, you gotta laugh.
And I don't know if it's too soon for pandemic jokes. Yeah, probably is. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it probably
Never
is,
mind.
but
Yeah, no,
to some
yeah,
people no, some people yes. It depends.
yeah. It depends on the room too, you know.
Sometimes
Yeah,
yeah, it depends on the room. I mean, I'm in the mood for 'em. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, and sometimes I
uh,
laugh at it. You know, so
yeah,
it just kind of wears on you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This whole thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Well, some people take it really serious. Some people don't
uh,
take it serious at all. You know,
yeah,
I don't have to wear a mask. The other people got a mask
yeah,
and shields on. It's all,
yeah.
there's nothing uniform. There's no, you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no, no, no. And then the mask police. I mean, you have to wear a mask. Obviously, you got to be safe. But then there's people who would get really adamant about it and get in your face. I mean, yeah, it gets a little out of hand. So we just got to be decent people about it, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't. I wear my mask religiously, but if I'm out, somebody goes by me without the mask, I just kind of get away from my. I don't get into it with them.
No,
Because
yeah,
you go out there, you'll be arguing all day with people that don't want to wear the mask.
yeah,
You know what I mean? What am I gonna do? Be a mask cop, and
yeah,
I'm gonna go around and tell everybody, hey, where's your mask?
yeah,
I'm not a police officer.
yeah,
They don't want to wear the mask. That's on them. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
disagree with it,
yeah,
but that's their business.
yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean? You can't tell
yeah.
people what to do. You know?
Thankfully, you're not in the prison system still. That's oof, it's probably not a safe place to be these days as far as germs
Yeah.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, well, what I understand is, I worked for 36 years up there, and
yeah.
saying they had a new class that was going through, and I guess some of them got the virus.
Ooh,
So they had to
ooh,
shut the class down, as I heard
uh,
recently. You know,
yeah, mm,
there's a lot of overtime up there. You know, what I mean, you could
yeah,
make some money, but I'm glad I left there, especially with this pandemic. You know,
yeah.
I never saw this coming in a million years, Paul.
No. Just when you thought 2020 or the recent times couldn't get worse, and then they came up with murder hornets, and then it's hurricane season. It's like, is there a message being sent from somewhere here? It's like, Mother Nature's really pissed off about something.
2019, I had a good year. My daughter got married.
Yeah.
We had all different family. There was different events. It was just a
Yeah.
great year, and the comedy was. I had a blast.
Yeah.
I was retired. I said, "Wow, you know what? This is going to be pretty good."
Yeah.
2 years in a row, retired, just doing comedy, really enjoying myself. And then 2020 came. The first 2 months was hardly any snow. We were doing well with the shows. Everything was going. This was like really great. And then the pandemic hit, and like my world and many other people tipped upside down. You know what I mean? No matter how you look at it.
Yeah, and we're alive, John. That's good.
Yeah,
People
that's
we
the
love
thing.
are
We're alive, and we'll come out the other side.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look back at this.
Yeah.
People are gonna look back at this. What a time.
Oh my God! 2020 is going to have the big asterisk next to it. I mean, this is a benchmark in human history.
I'm 62. I've never seen anything like this year, my whole life, anything like this.
Yeah, I guess the Spanish flu was kind of close. I guess because it was kind of
Spanish flu, 1918. They say, I read about that, and they say it was 4 years before people came back out in crowds. You know what I mean? 4 years. It really scared the people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think, my opinion, a lot of people are not afraid of this enough. Like I've seen people. I saw a guy get interviewed on TV the other night. He thought it was nothing. He wound up getting the coronavirus. He was on a ventilator for like 2 weeks. He wound up surviving. They were interviewing him from his hospital bed. He said, "It's no joke. No joke." You know. So I take it serious. Some people think, it's but I take it serious personally.
Yeah. Whew, well, this show took a downward turn in a hurry, didn't it, John?
Well, we got to cover all the bases, Paul. We got into the max. We got into the pandemic.
Trying to find the joy in the pandemic. There isn't any, but that's okay.
There isn't any.
Yeah, it's definitely too soon.
I ate good.
Yeah.
A lot of takeout. Got a lot of takeout.
Yeah, I miss going to restaurants. We got
I miss hanging at the restaurants.
Yeah, well, you work at the restaurants, but I mean, just going out now. You got to, take out and you get a mask to go in. It's just it's the new reality kind of sucks, but we're alive. Look at it that way,
You'll be back. Your acting will come back.
Oh no, yeah, it is coming back. I got stuff tomorrow. I got stuff this week, so it's happening. Little bits and pieces of it,
That's good. I'm glad you keep it busy. And what do you write? One story a month for the paper?
No. I once in a great while. I mean, I think the last full feature I did was you, or it was a cop in Pawtucket. I think I did a story on her. But like I do maybe 1 or 2 features a year for Rhode Island Month. I used to write for the Globe, Boston Globe all the time, but they consolidated and they got rid of a lot of the freelancers. So I don't do that anymore. But then I've concentrated on acting because I had told myself a few years ago I want to do this full time, and now I am. It's either actual doing the work full time or finding the work, because like I said, the hustle is a thing that I love too. I love the finding stuff.
That's the same way it is with my comedy. Things get rolling. You're always, let me try to get this restaurant.
Yeah.
Let me this gig come in. Maybe I'll try to get this fundraiser or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But anyway, so I definitely want to try the comedy again though. So if you ever go back to the connection,
we'll get you back. It's been great talking to you, man. You've been a great guest. I knew you would be, because I was thinking, who am I gonna have on? I said, I gotta have Paul on. I mean, he did a story on the comedy scene.
Yeah.
Did comedy. He's an actor. I find you interesting. You're a great guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'd love to get Paul on here.
I'm glad you did, because I just met you doing the story, and I thought you're one of the good guys. You really are. So
I try to help people. You know what I mean? I try to help all comics and people who want to get into business and veteran comedians. I try to get them work. And
I think I've
done the best I could. Anyway,
I think I called you and O'Donnell and Mike Murray. These old the Bacala, Bobby Bacala. Oh, the old guy, Berjol, rather, Bacala, the godfathers of comedy in Rhode Island. There's some old timers. Ain't that old, but you've been around a while, so you're like the, Charlie Hall. This the backbone of comedy.
Charlie Hall and Frank O'Donnell. They were around from like the late '70s. This comedy club. They were like started the whole thing. You know what I mean? I had Charlie on one night with Dave Kane, and Charlie talked about. Started the club, and it's pretty amazing how everything developed in the '80s. Was booming.
Nuts.
Lines of people waiting to get into the shows, and
wow, that's funny.
That was a booming time in Boston, Providence. So all over comedy took off.
Yeah. Well, it's like everybody's a comedian now, like Screaming Joe, whatever his name is, Joe Hebert, or Rockin' Joe Hebert.
Rockin' Joe Hebert.
Yeah, when I was talking to him, I said, there are too many comedians in Rhode Island. He said, are you kidding me? I got comedians. I had to shoo them off my lawn this morning. There's so many goddamn comedians. So, yeah, he was lamenting the plethora of comedians.
There are a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
You got to try to be funny to get work. You got to be funny. Like you're a good actor. You get work. If you're a funny enough comedian, you'll get work.
Yeah, that's true.
People want to book you. They'll want to book you as an actor. And,
Yep. This is good.
You got anything you want to say to wrap it up, Paul?
No, just thank you, and keep laughing, everybody. Because what else we got? You don't laugh, you die. So just laugh. We'll get through this, and we'll all get back to whatever normal we're meant to be at. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk, John. As I told you, you're going to have to shut me up, much like you have to do now, because I'll just I've
had a great time talking to you. You're a great guy, Paul.
Oh, thanks.
I wish you the best. Get out of this pandemic and get back to the way you were. You amazed me. You play hockey. You go hiking. I don't do those things. I tried auditioning for like 3 or 4 commercials through the years.
Yeah.
I can get on stage and turn it on with the crowd work.
Yeah.
When I went for auditions for TV commercials, I just don't. I don't know what it is. Like some people can act and do comedy. Yeah. Some people can do one or the other. I can do comedy, but for some reason I can't transfer it over to.
Well, I think, not to tie up too much more time, but Denuzio asked me that. He said, how do you come up with the material? I did it. And I said, well, I wrote it. And people say, you write your own stuff. I said, well, yeah, I'm an actor and a writer. And if I can't combine those two, I can write the material that I want to do, and you do it in comedy. It just seemed like a natural thing to do. So, yeah, and it'll happen again. And
I went out before Benny's closed. I went out for a Benny's commercial. I thought, I'll do this, and I went in there. And that was just I bombed in a Benny's commercial. They're like, okay. Like I knew one of the guys too. I got an in maybe here. Let me see what I can do. And I went. I left. I'm like, I think that was the last thing I tried acting for. I was like,
you got to have a thick skin to do this stuff, as you know.
But I admire you because I
keep plugging. Every audition I go to, I think I've got it. I just got it in my head. So that's it. I got it. Did the best I could. And I got it. And then naturally, you don't get them all. It's like, okay, something else will come up. So you just got to let it roll off. You got to have a thick skin and just believe in yourself. So
you got to believe. That's the way the comedy is. You got to just believe in yourself and just keep going.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, it's been a pleasure to have you on.
My friend, thank you. Thank you so much.
Stay healthy,
Yes, you too.
you and your family, and God bless you through all of this, and we'll get through
Yeah.
it. I'm looking forward to seeing you on stage again down the road.
Yeah,
Here.
we'll have a few laughs, John.
All right, Paul. Great talking to you, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
Bye bye.